Yo, what's doing? What's doing? Hanging with the Niner Nut on this beautiful Wednesday afternoon, and hope it's beautiful wherever you are. It sure is nice on the East Coast, I should say. The weather is superb right now. Hope it stays like this for a long duration. I'm sure those of you on the East Coast agree with me 100% because nobody wants to go back to it being cold and whatnot. So just looking at some of the recent news that's come out about Deebo Samuel, he now wants 25 million per season. Um, I don't know how to feel about this anymore. I tell you the truth, man. I'm kind of sick and tired of the back and forth bullshit. I've kind of had it with management a little bit. I've kind of had it with a lot of things. I'm coming off the disappointing Los Angeles Lakers season, and you know, having to deal with all that nonsense. I couldn't really watch them either. They were an absolute disgrace this season. And Russell Westbrook once again showed why he's been passed around the league to every team. And now he wants to blame Frank Vogel, who the Lakers fired. And everybody wants to blame everybody, but nobody wants to take responsibility, as the way we always see it happen. No one really has the balls to step up and say what obviously needs to be said, which really sucks. And in the case of the Lakers, we all know that it stinks from the head down because obviously obviously Jeannie Buss doesn't do much when it comes to talking. She allows Rob Pelinka to do the talking, which I don't understand because I didn't know Rob Pelinka was the owner of the team, which really blows. And of course, I mean, what do you expect him to say when he talks? You think he's really going to put himself to blame? Although I think Rob Pelinka's in kind of a place of power where he doesn't really have to worry because who the fuck is going to fire him there? But there's a lot of other people that don't agree with him, whether it's Magic Johnson, whether it's Charles Barkley, So yeah, I've had it. I lost respect for LeBron James. No true winner ducks from taking responsibility, and that's what he's done. He punked it. Okay, you straight up punked it. And I will say it. Kobe would have never done that. Jordan wouldn't have done that. Magic wouldn't have done that, and Bird wouldn't have done that. Guys who take the team on their shoulders. Shaq wouldn't have even done that. To tell you the truth, too. Okay, and for that, I'm going to put Barkley there too because Barkley seems to always been a stand-up guy, and he's been, he played with a lot of tenacity, a lot of heart. LeBron doesn't have that. LeBron's cotton candy. He doesn't have tenacity. I don't care what anybody says. I've seen enough of him play to know the truth. Yeah, he's one of the most talented and best players of all time. That's great. But guess what? On heart and tenacity, he scores really low. So I'm not feeling too good because I'm riding off my Lakers shitting the bed this season. And what happens? You fire head coach Frank Vogel, who won a championship 2 years ago, and he gets the scapegoat for everybody else. And now the blame, we're playing the blame game. This organization is fucked. They suck. They anger me. They disgust me. Trade AD, trade LeBron, trade Russell Westbrook. I don't give a shit if you get 6 ball boys and a floor mopper. Rebuild that fucking thing. Do what Jerry Buss would have done. Jeannie Buss got to be called out too because as an owner, I think she's done a piss poor job this season. I said it there. I digress. Let me get back to all things 49ers. So we're talking Deebo Samuel, and we're talking. Oh yeah, he wants 25 million a season. Well, what I got in front of me, I'm live by the way. For those of you that don't know it, but I just looking at the top couple of paid wide receivers in the league. Number one, you got Tyreek Hill in Miami. And we all know that Tyreek can back it up because he's won a chip. And he's won probably the fastest human being, fastest wide receiver in football. He shockingly shocked the world, I think, the sports world this offseason and was traded to the Miami Dolphins. Yeah, when he got there, you see he signed a 4-year contract extension worth $30 million per year. The deal is supposed to be $120 million with $72 million in guarantees. Okay, he's the highest paid receiver, and you know what? You got to give him his credit. He's earned it. For a guy who came from where he came from and did what he did, it's well deserved. So he's a winner. Okay, he's a game changer. We all know that. If you don't know that, then I don't know what to tell you. You got to watch more football. Moving onward and upward on this list, Devontae Adams is number 2, $28.25 million a season. Another gentleman who shocked the world. He was traded to the Raiders. Okay. Another guy who's probably one of the top wide receivers in football. All right. You can't argue with it. Obviously, I still don't understand why Green Bay let him go. I don't think a lot of people understand that. Obviously, you never let somebody go who's so important to your team, but I guess they had other plans. So that's number 2 on the list. Moving up the list, we have DeAndre Hopkins, who I still feel, pound for pound, all around, is the best wide receiver in football. I'm talking skills. I'm talking hands. I'm talking route running. I'm talking smarts. I'm talking intellectual capacity. I still think he's the best wide receiver in football. Yeah, he took a step down this last season with the injuries, which we've really never seen happen to him, although he's battled through injuries, and on game day, he's played through. But he's averaging $27.25 million per season. And let's see, they can release him after this year with just an 18.1 dead million. See, it won't get all his. It won't count against the cap for the total. And looking at the Cardinals, they're in a tough spot, man. They lost a shitload of players in this offseason. Christian Kirk, they lost the running back. We don't know what's going on with Kyler Murray. So they really took a step backwards. They're going to have, and they haven't really made any improvement in the offseason thus far that I've seen that's really put them in the upper place. But when they traded for Hopkins, let's face it was a fucking steal. The Texans still look like shit because of that trade. That was Mr. O'Brien, the other genius in Houston, who's a friggin' idiot. You don't trade your best player. But it was a lopsided trade from Arizona. I totally nailed that trade, and it's paid off in dividends, I think, to an extent. All right, so top 3, we got Tyreek, Devontae, and DeAndre. Obviously, all averaging, getting paid over $25 million, which Deebo wants. Stephon Diggs just got that new extension. $25 million a year, 4-year contract worth $104. He's, again, one of the most consistent and best wide receivers in football. Catches, route running, athletic ability. These 4 guys all make sense. They all make sense. And the Bills are on the rise, let's face it. Josh Allen, Manuel Sanders, Gabe Davis. They're loaded, man. In fact, I think they're the team to beat in the AFC this year thus far. They made a lot of moves. Von Miller they signed in the offseason. They're the team to beat in the AFC. They were, again, another step away from getting there. And every year, Josh Allen gets better. Him and Stephon Diggs have become the ultimate 1-2 combination. These other guys this far, we'll have to see about Devontae Adams and David Carr. David Carr just got a 3-year extension. And we have to see, this is a chance taker too, because we don't know what we have in Tua Tagovailoa. Okay? Same thing. DeAndre and Kyler Murray, I think, are pretty much on the same par. I wouldn't call them the best 1-2 combination in football, but Diggs and Allen, yes, Diggs totally makes sense. DJ Moore, 20.6 per year. I was surprised too with this, but he's worth it. He's really played well. He had a monster season. Okay. Problem with him is he doesn't have anyone throwing him the ball. Hence why maybe he's getting 20.6 per, because who's their quarterback? Okay. Sam Darnold blows. I'm sorry. Sam Darnold's a bust. He's a mediocre quarterback at best. All right. I think someone should kind of tell him that, because he seems to think that he's a lot better than he is. I'm just looking looking up some other stats here as we move on. But you know, DJ definitely needs to have someone throwing him the ball, and just kind of going over to look at some Carolina Panthers stats. I mean, look, it was a mix this season of Darnell Newton, PJ Walker. It was a friggin' absolute disaster. Yet, he averaged 93 catches this season. He, 1,157 and 4 touchdowns. Now, remember, early on, he was killing it, DJ Moore. He was absolutely slaying it those first few weeks. And for his 4-year career, he's had, look at that, 3 monster seasons in terms of catches, in terms of yards. Okay, maybe not on the touchdown aspect as well, but he's earned it. Okay, that poor guy just needs someone to throw him the fucking ball. And that really sucks that they don't have that. So, yeah. Worth it? Yes. And again, he's not getting that 25. But look at the gap we have here, right? He has 20.6, 26. So Deebo wants to, fill in below Stephon Diggs and above DJ Moore. After that is Keenan Allen. Keenan Allen's a legit wide receiver, one of the better ones in football. Again, him and Justin Herbert have developed a really good relationship, and Justin Herbert's very lucky to also have Michael Williams. So, obviously, Deebo wants to get more money than Keenan Allen. He also wants more money than Amari Cooper. Okay, another guy who's bounced around, Raiders, Cowboys, now Browns, getting $20 million. All right, after that, we got Chris Godwin, re-signed with the Buccaneers. Been injuries, a little bit of injuries. Wants $20 million. Mike Williams, as I just spoke about, $20 million. Here's a question mark. Michael Thomas, who I think is a phenomenal wide receiver, but the last 2 seasons have been disasters in terms of injury. Okay, he's getting 19.25 a season. So here's my problem with all this, and I think Deebo's a phenomenal talent. Now I'll be pros and cons. Pros are Deebo, again, is a juggernaut because he also can run the ball, as we all, unless we're not watching football, unless we're not paying attention to the 49ers, we all know what he's capable of. He's got that advantage over these other guys because none of these other guys really are used out of the running scheme the way he is. Just checking on some stats from DeAndre, okay, and as you can see, last season, he only played 10 games, 42 catches, his worst season thus far. You've never seen him really get injured, and but let's look at what he's done up to then. I mean, he's only spent 2 years with the Cardinals. He had 115 catches that first year, and then just look at everything else before that. 104, 115. I mean, come on. Guy's worth the money, obviously. Obviously. Who else, on that list we were looking at? We already did DJ Moore. We already did DeAndre Hopkins. We talked about Michael Thomas. Just go over to some Saints stats. He played very little this year. But again, we're talking long term here. He didn't even friggin' play this year. I tell you the truth, I honestly forgot that he never suited up, which really sucks because the last 2 seasons have been an absolute disaster for him. But listen, prior to that, he was a pass catching phenom. You can't dispute that. He was a pass-catching phenom. And they've got a lot of changes there. New head coach. No more Sean Payton. Okay. So, yeah, there's been a lot of changes there. I hope he comes back 100% because I think he's a phenomenal talent. So he's being paid for his past endeavors, and obviously, for the most part, it's well worth it. But going back, also on that list, we saw two guys from the Los Angeles Chargers, and obviously, two of their two studs, man. They're two receiving studs because they're a team that's, duly talented in the receiving game. And you got Keenan Allen, 106 catches, Mike Williams, 76. Both guys, 1,000-yard receivers. Keenan Allen, look at Keenan Allen, just over his career. I mean, come on. This guy's worth the money. He's not even getting $25 million a season. I think he's being underpaid if you really want to know the truth. And then go look at Michael Williams. Took him a little bit more, but he's a different type of wide receiver, more of a deep threat, right? Look at him. Look at his average, 20.4, 15.8, 15.1. So my point being, I understand he wants to be the highest paid guy, $25 million, obviously under Stephon Diggs. Here's the problem. Again, pros, yeah, he's very talented, Deebo. Pros, he's our number one. Pros, he's out of the backfield. He could throw the ball. We know that. Cons, injuries. Not this season, but last season. Cons, we don't know what we have as a quarterback in Trey Lance. Who's going to be throwing him the ball? We know what Jimmy G and him can do, but we don't know. There's a question mark, thanks to fucking management. Do you sign this guy to $25 million? And who's your quarterback? What if Trey Lance turns out to be a friggin' bust? What if Jimmy G isn't the same this season? Well, now we're fucked. We're fucked. Okay? We're fucked. Cons also, injuries. If he gets hurt, what happens then? So, you got to be objective about this, man. You got to be objective about this. And I'm kind of surprised, actually. Well, nothing really surprises me, but I think I will say this: he's asking for a little much. Okay, he's asking for a little 25. I don't know about that. If he said 20, 21, yeah, I think that's doable. I think it's definitely doable. But 25 is a lot. You're asking to be amongst these guys who have really proven themselves to be freak shows. And look, he had a phenomenal year this season. A phenomenal year. 18.2 yards per catch, 6 touchdowns, but I don't know, man. You're looking to be up there with those guys. I think that's too much. But management has put themselves in a bad position because now they don't have they do have a leg to stand on. They can always not pay him and let him walk, which people will fucking hate them for. Or you can pay him and hope for the best, which, I don't know. Maybe you can find a happy medium somewhere in between, 25 and 20. Does it have to be 25? There's got to be some wiggle room there. But I never know, sometimes I never know what to expect out of management these days. From this offseason, I think that this offseason gets a C+ to a B. We just released Maurice Hurst, who we had re-signed. Now we release him. We re-sign Nate Sudfeld. We don't re-sign Laken Tomlinson. We don't re-sign DJ Jones. We all know what's going on here with this. Here's another thing with Trey Lance: is the offense going to stay the same? Is Deebo going to be used in the same capacity that we have now? What happens then? There's a lot of things they got to weigh, people. There's a lot of things they got to weigh. I don't know. I really don't know what's going to happen in terms of that. And it's going to be interesting to see. Now obviously management's on the line to see if they can get him the deal he wants. Obviously, John Lynch feels that Deebo and Bosa aren't going anywhere. Well, good luck with that, John Lynch, because no offense, we all know that That's not always the case. And it's I don't know, man. I'm lost. I really am lost. And I think again, I management has made a lot of mistakes this offseason. Management has made a lot of mistakes in the past. They've done good things, but they fucked up. And now here's a guy who had a monster season who wants to get paid, a guy you drafted in the second round, very talented guy. If I'm them, I'm not giving him $25 million a season. I'm sorry. I'm definitely going to pay him, but also too, $25 million. How many years we doing this? We doing 4? We doing 3? If it's anything other, if it's 3 years, that's a mistake. I'm not paying anybody 3 years, $25 million. That's just not going to happen. If anything, I say you pay this guy maybe a little 20 and over and get him for 4 years. Or you do a 5-year deal with him. Remember, we still got to re-sign Bosa. You still got to give him an extension. Now, looking back at this, did we overpay Jimmy G? Yeah, you did. Let's be practical about it. We overpaid him. Did we need a quarterback? We sure did. And I'm sure shit happy we got Jimmy G, but we did overpay him. That's for sure. I mean, you know, if we're going to look at the numbers on this one, and I'm just typing in, the top paid quarterbacks in football, that will help us further get a good sense of who's who. All right. And I'm just looking at the list. Patrick Mahomes is getting 45 mil. Josh Allen is getting 43. Dak Prescott 40. Deshaun Watson. Actually, wait, I take that back. This is for 2021. Let's look at 2022. I don't think the list is really going to change that much. Let's see what we got. Obviously, Aaron Rodgers is up there with his newest contract, that monster contract. 50.3 mil. Deshaun Watson, 46 mil. Patrick Mahomes, 45. Allen, 43. Derek Carr, he just got an extension. Matt Stafford at 40. Prescott at 40. Russell Wilson at 35. Kirk Cousins at 35. And Jared Goff at 33.5. Here's a problem with this list. I count 1, 2, 3, 4 out of these 10 guys have won Super Bowls. Funny thing is, Russell Wilson's getting in 8th place, getting $35 million. I don't say $35 million lightly, and he's a winner, and he's not asking for more. That's the kind of guy I want on my team. Aaron Rodgers can keep his 50.3 because he's not winning any Super Bowl. Deshaun Watson ain't winning any Super Bowl. Patrick Mahomes definitely, although with the steps that Kansas City's taken backwards this year, I think they'll still be a contender. Josh Allen on his way up, definitely, Quinn. I like Derek Carr. Raiders, listen, man, it's possible. Do I pay him $40 million? I don't know about that. Matthew Stafford's not worth the $40 million. I'm sorry. I don't give a shit what anyone says. He won a Super Bowl. Yes, I give him his credit, but, Dak Prescott, $40 million. Well, I don't see the Cowboys going anywhere anytime soon. Kirk Cousins definitely is not worth $35 million. Jared Goff, sure shit ain't worth $33.5. So he's not even on, Jimmy G's not obviously on this list. Okay, he's under that. At the time, was he still underrated? Yeah, he was. He signed at $137 million deal, which I think was ridiculous. I think it was it was way too much. But that's what they wanted to do. We needed a quarterback. So sometimes when you're in need for things, you got to pay for them. But I don't know what to tell you what to do now. Deebo wants his $25 million. I don't think you give him $25 million. You got to reason with this guy and get him for at least 20 to 21 or 2. Because I love Deebo, but he's not. He still needs to prove that he's in the upper echelon of these wide receivers. We're talking guys who have performed year after year. DeAndre, Devontae, Stephon Diggs, Tyreek Hill. And I'm not saying he can't. There's not a bigger fan than Deebo than me. I love the juggernaut that he is. But you got to look. I think we need to see a little bit more. I'm sorry. The numbers in this case talk for these other guys. And we also need to see who's throwing him the ball this season. So I don't think he's going to get his $25 million a season. And I don't know what's going to happen. Is he going to walk? I doubt he's going to walk. But I think that he'll sign for something under that. But again, if you're a 49 and nut like I am, it's been disappointing, people. It's really been disappointing. Going all the way back to last year when we fucking made the stupid move of trading away so much equity for a guy we didn't know. It's not a diss at Trey Lance. You got to hope he turns out to be great. He's got to turn out to be the next Mahomes, if you ask me, and to give away 2 first-round draft picks. Anything less than that's not gonna work. Getting rid of DeForest Buckner, letting DJ Jones go, letting Laken Tomlinson go, not getting Arden Key back. I know I'm not trying to look at the negatives, but I'm just pointing out which is pretty much the facts. So I don't know. I don't think management has really cemented themselves as management in terms of, like when you think of the greats, like, you think of the Los Angeles Lakers and Jerry West and Dr. Jerry Buss, and you think of the New York Yankees with the great George Steinbrenner, owners who knew exactly, and people knew exactly who they were, had a rapport with the players, knew the system of who these people were. I don't think there's a lot of that these days, because I think that the power, if you want to call it that, has changed hands. I mean, you look at the Lakers, LeBron James has way too much power and not enough stuff to back it up. And management just lets him do whatever he wants. There's got to be a mutual respect. And you know what? If management lets Deebo walk, they're fucked either way, I think. I think they're more fucked if they let him walk, because people are going to say, you're going to let him walk with all the other bad decisions you made this season? But at the same time, you kind of look at that and say, yeah, but management's also kind of saying, well, you're not going to get $25 million. We'll give you 22. We'll give you 20. That I respect. But I think they're in a place of between a rock and a hard case, if you really want to know the truth. So it's going to be interesting to see what happens. I understand Deebo's trying to get paid, but look, you got to be realistic about this too, dude. You want to be in the I don't know. To be in that upper group, I think you got a little more to show. One monster season is not going to do it, as opposed to DeAndre Hopkins, Devontae Adams, Stephon Diggs, and Tyreek Hill, and Keenan Allen, who I think is the most underrated one on that list. These guys have been doing it year after year, man. Now, I understand, San Diego's got Herbert. Kansas City's got Mahomes as well. Hill's not there. I mean, yeah, Hill and Tagliova, I don't know how it's going to work, but, management has just put themselves against the wall. I'm sorry. They put themselves against the wall, man, with the Trey Lance move, and now this offseason, and now this. They're against the fucking wall. Even with Brandon Ayuk, I think they've undervalued him. I didn't like what Shanahan was doing to him last year early on. I didn't understand that. Thank God he came on and played great. I don't know. Everything's out of hand when you think about it, and I'm not trying to be disrespectful. All these guys are playing a fucking game. But if that's what the market calls for, that's what the market calls for. But when you think about it, it kind of makes me feel bad for other people who can't afford to go to games. I'm a Yankee fan, but I'm really disgusted with management. I'm disgusted with Aaron Judge. I'm disgusted how management kind of put that out there for everybody to see. But I'm also disgusted at Aaron Judge kind of snubbing the money that he was getting. I think both sides suck, and there's no respect for the fans who have to pay exuberant amounts of money to come see these people play. And without fans, let's face it, there wouldn't be a show. So that's just my 2 cents on both sides. I try and be objective as always. But let's hope for the best, Niner Nation. Let's hope for the best, and hopefully, I miss Edward D. Bartolo at times like this. One of the great, I forgot to mention, one of the greatest owners in all of sports, one of my favorite owners. He knew exactly how to run this team, what they were. Hit me up, Facebook. Hit me up on Instagram. Please subscribe to the YouTube channel and let me know how you feel. The best fan base in sports. Thank you. I'm out.